If you've ever been told you just need to prioritise better and felt quietly frustrated, then this video is for you, because if prioritising were the problem, you would have solved it by now, wouldn't you? The truth is, prioritisation doesn't fail because you're bad at it. It fails because your brain often doesn't have the capacity required to prioritise in the first place. In this video, I'll explain why just prioritise better is misleading advice, what actually breaks prioritisation under pressure, and what needs to happen before prioritising can work. This isn't about smarter systems, it's about understanding the conditions your brain needs in order to think clearly. Prioritisation is treated like a foundational productivity skill, as if it's something you can just apply anytime, under any conditions, no matter how overloaded you are. But prioritisation is not a baseline function. It's a high-level cognitive process. It requires working memory, it requires comparison, sequencing, it requires emotional regulation, which means prioritisation is often the first thing to break when you're under pressure. To prioritise effectively, your brain needs a limited number of options. It needs clear definitions, emotional neutrality, and enough capacity to compare trade-offs. When those conditions are present, prioritising feels simple. When they're not, prioritising feels impossible, and that's not resistance, that's biology. Under overload, something very predictable happens. Your brain loses the ability to distinguish importance. Everything starts to feel urgent. Everything feels heavy. Everything feels equally demanding. This isn't poor judgment. It's about what happens when capacity is exceeded. When everything feels urgent, prioritization can't work, can it? Because nothing feels safe to deprioritize. Most productivity advice ignores this part. Prioritizing isn't emotionally neutral. Choosing one thing means not choosing others, and under pressure that can feel like letting people down, risking failure, falling behind, making the wrong choice. So your brain hesitates, not because it's indecisive, but because the emotional cost feels way too high. So this is why advice like just pick one thing, just focus on the most important task, the biggest bang for your buck, everything else can wait, often makes overwhelm worse. Because under load, choosing feels dangerous. And when choosing feels dangerous, the safest move becomes just don't choose. That's how you become frozen. Here's the reframe from the momentum reset method. Prioritization is not the starting point, it's the result of reduced load. Before you ask, what should I do first? Your brain needs to know, I'm not responsible for everything at once. Relief comes first, clarity follows. People often respond by trying to prioritize better. They invest in new frameworks, new apps, new matrices, new rules, but no system can compensate for overload. If your brain is carrying just too much, even the best prioritization method will fail. Not because the method is wrong, but because the conditions aren't there. Before prioritizing, three things have to happen. First, externalization. Your brain must stop holding everything internally. Second, containment. Each task must have edges. Next step, time or parking place. Third, permission. Your system needs to know it's allowed to ignore most things for now. Only then does prioritization become possible. This is important. Clarity is not a thinking skill, it's a nervous system state. When your system feels safe, thinking expands, options become visible, decisions feel lighter. When it doesn't, thinking narrows, urgency increases, and prioritization collapses. This is why calm restores clarity faster than effort ever could. Many people confuse priority with pressure. Pressure shouts, priority whispers. Pressure feels urgent, priority feels clear. When everything is loud, nothing can be heard. So reducing pressure is what allows true priority to emerge. This advice hits capable people hardest. People who care deeply, who are conscientious, who see consequences, who don't want to mess things up. They don't struggle to prioritize because they don't care. They struggle because they care too much and they carry too much responsibility internally. Instead of asking what's most important, try asking what can safely be ignored right now. This isn't avoidance, it's containment. Priority emerges when the field is smaller. So when load is reduced, urgency softens, comparisons become easier, sequencing returns, and often without effort, one thing starts to stand out. That's real priority. It's not been forced, it's not been argued with, it's just visible. If prioritizing feels impossible right now, that's not a character flaw, it's a capacity issue. You don't need to try harder to choose. You need fewer things demanding choice. If just prioritise better has ever made you feel worse, I know it has me, pause. Nothing is wrong with you. Your brain can't prioritise under overload, and that's normal. In the next videos, I'm going to talk about how cognitive load builds without you noticing, why urgency takes over, and how to restore clarity without pressure. Those videos, like this one, are part of my Overwhelm playlist. If you want to check that out, it will be up here somewhere, and a link in the description. And if you want a structured way to apply this, the momentum reset method is linked in the description. It walks you through it step by step. You don't need a better priority system. You need a calmer cognitive environment.